Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2, the elite mod. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for tonight as always as we get into the final match of 2.3 that we're going to have casted on this channel. We're moving on to 2.4. We did one final one-on-one match. Now we're going to do a final team game. On the red side, we've got Noisy as the Space Marine Force Commander alongside Forest Regio as the Orc Commando Knob, and last on the red team, Aspiring Hooper as the Orc Mech Boy. On the blue team, we've got Freeman as the Inquisitor for the Imperial Guard alongside Hans Moleman as the Eldar Warlock, and last but not least, we've got Floid rocking the Hive Tyrant for the Tyranid forces. Only one faction running the power armor today, Mr. Noisy over there. Overall, we've got a rather eclectic group of alliances on either side. We've got Orcs and Space Marines. We've got 5 out of 7 total factions in this game, so this should be pretty exciting. Always good to see a nice mix-up of different things as we get into this game. And of course, as I mentioned, this is the last replay we're going to see from 2.3. Everyone else has been sending me replays from that patch. Sorry, my apologies, because we're moving on. Those are getting left in the dust. We're moving into the next big thing. Anyways, let's take a look at this game. We already saw Destructor land spot onto those shooter boys. Tyranid now ripping apart Orcs in a big ruckus and melee there. A lot of madness happening as both Orcs roamed into the center against the Eldar and Tyranid forces in these early engagements. Hans Moleman was just a pair of Guardians and double Termagants for our Tyranid players. Both Orcs also with the double shooters, so pretty standard openings from everything that's hanging out in the middle so far. Over here on the Space Marine side, looks like we've already got some shotgun scouts trying to keep those. Oh man, actually doing some pretty solid damage, going very aggressively against those Guardmen infantry. 18 health on them, 6 left. Let's see if they go down. Wow, an early squad kill there for Mr. Noisy, playing super aggressive. We don't normally see those shotgun scouts early against Imperial Guard. Normally, I guess normally you expect to see the double attacks against Imperial Guard, but since Noisy wasn't necessarily sure what he was playing against right away, got those double scouts and shotguns, surprisingly keeping all their models and taking out a squad nice and quick there. Freeman still with 2 Guardsmen infantry squads, bringing out a heavy weapon as well. Hans Moleman going for the Rangers, which could be, they'll manage to bleed these shooter boys, I guess, a little bit, but probably more for the detection of the Commando Knob. Since the Mech Boy's out and the Commando Knob himself, they'll probably have a pretty easy time of forcing those Rangers off if they're not careful. Parmagon's looking to get into some power there. Meanwhile, down bottom, shotgun scouts proving their use once again as the Force Commanders going deep in enemy territory, hacking up some Guardsmen before that heavy weapon team gets set up. Sentinel looking a little beat up, but the only real threat being these tactical Marines, those injured shotgun scouts aren't really going to be trying to get close here. Heavy weapon team should be easily able to deal with what Noisy has on the field, especially considering he's going double tax. If he's going double tax against the Imperial Guard, I'm almost guaranteed to see that Storm Shield come up here for the Force Commander shortly. Orcs trying to move into the center once again. Ranger Hollowfield trying to provide some additional cover to those Guardians who are already behind those energy shields. I'm not sure if that actually reduces the incoming damage on the energy shields or not, considering if the squad behind it is infiltrated. That's an interesting little caveat that I'd like to see how that works. Nice grenade going down. Oh, taking down all but a couple sluggers there. Bullseye, that squad's probably going down. Let's see if it manages to escape. No, it does not. Lots of big shooters all over the map. Loot is now coming onto the field. Orcs having a huge pile of ranged firepower right now. Going to be able to focus fire down just about anything that approaches. As it stands right now, neither side really getting a strong grasp on the center of the map. Of course, in Calderas, it's going to come down to a big brawl in the center here, so both sides want to try to get as much advantage and victory points in this early game as they can. Gen bashes on Calderas are probably pretty uncommon overall. And here we go. Here's that Force Commander. Just as I figured, the Chainsword and Storm Shield coming down, able to reduce incoming range damage and completely negate suppression. So double tax that can't be suppressed against this Imperial Guard double heavy weapon setup squad right now is probably going to be a pretty big terror. Even that Force Commander, though, at point blank, those heavy weapons teams should be able to take him out pretty quickly. Even so, wow, he was still taking a lot of damage right there. But as it stands right now, looks like it's going to be a 2-0 cap, maybe even a 3-0 cap here for the red team coming up shortly. Barbed Strangler, Warrior Brood now on the map down here, going to be suppressing orcs left and right. If they can get a Barbed Strangler right on top of this blob of shooters, that could easily be a simple all retreat for the orc squads. Knocking down some suppression. Oh man, we've got lots of AoE suppression here. We've got the Barbed Strangler, or not suppression, but AoE damage in general. The Immolator's now down here as well. If we can get an Immolator, a kinetic shot, something along those lines to get the Warrior Brute to land a suppressing shot, those Guardians can easily drop in a grenade or something along those lines. Ooh, Warrior's actually behind the firing arc of this Ludaboy squad, which is probably a bit too far forward considering the positioning right here. Very tricky. Hive Tyrant also has his warp field and improved synapse, making him a pretty big tanky force right now. Ludaboy's trying to suppress what they can with both the Warlock and the Hive Tyrant move in there. Grenade right on top of the Warlock, with the Psychic Shield apparently protected him from that blast. Shuriken weapons team getting set up the wrong direction. Immolator and Barbed Strangler are enough to force a full retreat from all the orcs there. These two Wog Banners aren't going to last much longer. Gonna get singularly taken out here as, well, one squad of Sluggas moving in and realizing that's a pretty terrible idea. Oh man, triple tax now coming down. It looks like the Imperial Guard dropped a bunker down bottom, and we saw Drop Pod coming in now supporting a third squad of tax. We've been seeing more of this kind of tax spam play here recently. Double shotgun scouts coming out here as well. Sentinel in a lot of trouble, but it should be able to escape just barely there with just over 100 HP. Double Flamers now moving in on the power farm of the blue team. Inquisitor doesn't really have too much she can do about this at the moment. Really was depending on those heavy weapon squads to deal with these attacks, but as it stands right now, that Force Commander is able to just negate almost all of that. Actually, I believe the Storm Shield and the Chainsword are getting a minor debuff in the coming patch. It actually will cost energy to activate that defend ability instead of being able to toggle it on and on willy-nilly. So that will actually decrease the effectiveness at least a bit, because you can see he's actually kind of popping it on and off whenever he wants to try to negate any incoming damage as much as possible, and just really making this pile of tactical Marines hard for the Imperial Guard to deal with, considering their only real option in Tier 1 is range damage beyond their heroes. So everyone on the blue team heading into Tier 2. Floid already there. Noisy now with triple tax. Commando Knob trying desperately to get that cap down, but not quite able to. Had to fall back for a moment until the Mech Boy was able to get his shooter boys up there and force off the remaining Eldar squads. Eldar are just going to have a hard time approaching this kind of firepower in general right now. When they have their energy shields up, they can take kind of a beating, but pushing forward outside of that particular range and position is going to be very hard to deal with. Drop Pod getting taken out here by a pair of heavy weapon squads. I guess coming into Tier 2, we'll probably see these just get upgraded to autocannons, and that will at least negate some of the damage from that Storm Shield. I'm not sure if these booby traps on the bunker here do AoE damage, so I'm not sure if he were to trigger this on retreat or even with all those scouts standing there, whether it would be effective or not. As it stands right now, the blue team is a little over 100 PPs behind. Oh, and we've got stick bombers now on the field, blasting away at some guardsmen infantry. They managed to mostly escape right there. Bunker goes down. Oh no! The scouts went in, they took the bait, and got obliterated. That's one way to deal with the squad of scouts. Commando Knob's now out here with some sneaky bombs of his own to return the favor right there. Stick bombs coming down, trying to take out Tyranids. Weirdos on the field for both Aspiring Hooper and Forest Radio. Weird boys are so much fun. Maybe we'll see some Foot of Gork action. I'd love to see that. I haven't seen a good Foot of Gork in a long time. Zone Thrope out here for the blue team. The blue team really trying to get some solid AoE down. We've got the Zone Thrope, we've got the Wraith Guard, and we've got a Manticore out here as well. So with that Manticore, they'll be able to bomb these piles of ranged nastiness between the Shooter Boys and this attack blob that we see here. That Force Commander actually looks kind of awkward with the Storm Shield and that Sacred Standard. He just looks like he wouldn't really be very effective in battle. He looks so unwieldy with that big flag on his back and the great big Storm Shield as well. I like how he's actually holding it up though as he approached that range fire. That was pretty cool looking. But that was too much for him to deal with, and the Warlock might be able to take him out. 20 HP left. Let's see if the Warlock gets one more swing. He does! Ooh, and a nasty sink kill right there as well. Showing off his sword skill and sending that Force Commander down the ground. That's actually a pretty good spot for him to go down, because even with that Sacred Standard buff, this isn't a great position for him to be in. Most of the battles will probably be happening up in this area, so taking him out on the back line like that pretty much negates that War Gear bonus.
So the generator is online.
Good on that Warlock. Wraith Guards showing the Orcs that they're not afraid to move in on that position now. Actually have a, is that the Sword Field they have on them as well? It looks like they have, oh there it goes, yeah. At least the end of the Sword Field right there. Trying to land some shots on that Orc truck, but misfiring a bit, unfortunately. Wraith Guard's got a pretty big overhaul in the coming patch. We'll have to see in coming replays how those come down. Noisy going from his triple tax directly into a Dreadnought now. 193 to 437 though. The Blues are struggling to hold the map at all. Considering the current makeup now though, I think they'll probably be pretty good to go. Scouts going around on the sneaky side back here. Commando Knob on a lightning strike rescue op to pick up that Force Commander behind enemy lines. Up top here, looks like, oh, Mech Boy here with that bouncy shield. Custom mech force field knocking Dire Avengers all over the place. Blue team looks like they finally have a reasonable hold on the center of the map. Oh, nice volley coming down from the Wraith Guard, almost taking out a squad of Shooter Boys in a single volley. Weirdo manages to land a shot and knock everything back, just narrowly saving those shooters from certain doom. Meanwhile, Wraith Guards trying to figure out which direction they need to go. Commando Knob causing a lot of trouble on the back lines here. This Manticore hasn't quite managed to get any big shots down that I've seen anyways. That's the problem with 3-on-3s. There's always so much going on. A little friendly fire from the Weird Boy actually protected those Slugger Boys from a little bit of grenade incoming right there. Stun bombs coming in. Chaos starting to break out all over the center of the map. Hive Tyrant pushes off the Eastern Orcs. Western Orcs still set up. Luda's protecting those stick bombers and Weird Boy from any approach, and now the Space Marine Dreadnought is pushing forward onto the field, scaring off those Wraith Guard. Both sides constantly checking each other's compositions as we head into the mid-game here. Hive Tyrant completely decked out now with the Crushed Claw on top of the Synapse Warp Field we saw from him earlier. Weird Boy setting out a few warning shots, some stun bombs coming down once again. Let's see if they're going to get followed up. Some zap coming down, and then another volley of sticks right on top of those stun Tyranids, forcing a mass retreat right now. 423 to 193 though, and the blue team's still in a lot of trouble. Flame attacks once again getting in on this power farm, and now looks like they might even be able to pressure the second farm on this side of the map, putting the Blues in even more of a perilous position, behind on V-Blues and soon to be behind on Tech as well. Forrest, you can see already in tier 3 getting himself some knobs on the field here shortly. Eldar did manage to rout the Space Marine push here once again, only losing the single gen farm this time. Triple flamer attacks definitely take out gen farms pretty quick. Oh man, nice use of the explosive trap right there. Almost knocked, yep. I was going to say it almost knocked those warriors right into those stick bombs, but they escaped. But instead of retreating, they got gunned down before they returned to the hive. Man, this Dreadnought way behind enemy lines, trying, oh, Mech Boy activates his global to save that thing. It might actually be running quick enough to save itself from the Hive Tyrant. Capillary Tower comes down here, trying to slow that Dreadnought down, but it wasn't even quick enough. And a narrow escape from that marauding Hive Tyrant. With that shield and Crush Claw would have made short work of that injured Space Marine Dreadnought. triple cap for the red team now. Blue team once again in a lot of trouble. Victory points quickly ticking down here. A zone throw. Oh no, it looked like a second zone throw was coming down on the field here, but instead looks like he canceled that order. Relay that and see what Floyd's going to be bringing out here. Everyone's heading into Tier 3. Red team, anyways, their last player. Blue team still hanging out in Tier 2. Double Manticores right now for Freeman. Not a lot of field presence for Freeman's army, but if he can manage to support with those Manticores, he can keep those victory points pretty well safe. Of course, with the rocket launcher coming in for that commando knob, we're going to see some sneaky stuff coming from him. I'd almost guarantee it. Manticore strike kind of whiffing right there. Blue team really needs to get out here and do something quickly. Tyrant Guard up here. There's not a lot they can do with the Tyrant Guard from this Orc army. He has to be wary of those knobs, but just about anything else. I think the high powering Tyrant Guard can probably roll in there pretty easily at the moment. Big Eldar push coming in on the center point. Wraith Guards and Wraith Lord easily threatening these Orcs for the time being. Wraith Guards not quite connecting with much. A venom shot from those Termagants would actually help a lot.
A victory point is slipping away. Weapons crew reporting. Our allies have themselves a victory point.
Oh man, here comes. Oh no. I see what's happening here. He's gonna just roll right in and assassinate this Manticore. Doesn't even care about the base. What is that? Oh wow. 4 suppression squads all firing away at tactical marines, and they're just tanking it. That's probably why that war gear might be getting a bit of a nerf here in the coming patch. Tactical marines in a lot of trouble. This one squad is perilously low. It does go down. Finally, one of those tac squads gets eliminated, but they did manage to tag that Manticore. Commando Knob still sneaking around with his rocket launcher. This second Manticore has to be very careful. Sneaky Knob moving in once again. Warpath getting activated by that weird boy. There are ranges over here to spot the knobs. What they really need out here is that Inquisitor to lock those knobs down and prevent them from moving up. She has the assail ability. Yeah, there it is right there. Actually firing it off from a pretty long distance away. Manticore strike coming down on the center, it looks like. Ooh, instantly giving most of those Sudaboys. The knob barely escapes. Sent on home by himself, as we so often see those knobs doing. Orc Luda boys putting some pressure on both of these Wraith Lords. They're looking pretty beat up at the moment. 130 to 313 though. There is just too much action happening on opposing sides of the maps here. Freeman getting some Kasserkins. Trying to upgrade from that kind of weaker infantry he has into a more elite ranged squad. Noisy looked like he just went ahead and repurchased that third tactical squad. One did go down, right? I think that new one. Just sticking with the triple tax. Oh no, Scouts getting the wrong side of some sticks there on those Wraith Guards. Tried to engage melee, keep them from firing, but there was a volley of stick bombs coming in. Dreadnought looks like it's going deep once again. Warlock and Inquisitor both hanging out on this side of the map. Tax getting locked down, but there wasn't any Manticore strike to convert that assail into some lost models or a retreat. And this Dreadnought's just standing there trying to flame away. The Dreadnought Flamer actually is not very effective. It's unfortunate. It looks like it might not escape this time though. Las Cannon in a lot of trouble. Let's see, it doesn't manage to get a final shot off on that Dreadnought. Tyrant Guard again pursuing. Oh, but the Mech Boy saves it once again. Some really excellent coordination from the red team so far, using their globals and abilities to really support each other's armies whenever possible. That Dreadnought just narrowly escaping with, what, 100 health? Oh yeah, you can see Noisy this time around finally decides, you know what, probably time to go range with this thing and upgrade to an assault cannon. Sticks going down, knobs and melee with walkers. But I don't think these Wraith Lords are long for this world unless they can deal with that Space Marine, that Orc Luda in the back with BB Death Gun. One Wraith Lord falls rather quickly. Sticks still coming down along with the Weird Boy disruption there. Nice shot on those Kasserkins. Wraith Lord does manage to escape just narrowly as a Swarm Lord is coming onto the field for Floid. Hans Moleman getting a third Wraith Lord? I guess a second Wraith Lord now that one's gone down. Warlock trying to get the cap down, dropping the Immolate on those shooter boys. That Immolate's actually been proving very useful. Almost always see the Warlock go for the Merciless Witchblade, but it's been nice to see the Immolator here. Orc truck is down. Manticore shots pushing off the last of the Orc forces. Both Sluggas and Scouts fixing up this Dreadnought. It would be cool to see if the Orcs repair a Dreadnought that you see like weird scraps of metal that get slapped onto its armor. some Orky repairs on that nice, pretty Space Marine Dreadnought probably wouldn't look too nice when it comes down to it. Three squads attacks, all those attacks now sporting missile launchers instead of the flamers we saw earlier. Painboy coming out here, probably looking to upgrade those knobs, either upgrade their speed or damage with that permanent cyborg implant. Swarmlord, which we don't often see here, now charging onto the field. That big nasty son of a gun. Not quite as bulky as the Carnifex, but definitely a true super unit there, buffing all of those nearby Tyranids. Look at them just speeding along here. Force Commander trying to escape under pressure from the Eldar. Nid's in the retreat path as well. Could probably turn, well no, he's got about 400 HP, he's fine I suppose. Nid's just flanking all the way around the backside of these Orcs here. Capillary Tower going up once again. Painboy finding himself a bit out of position. Knobs trying to cap under the safety of Greener and Greener Frenzy. And that Orc Battle Wagon now out here as well. Manticore strike going down, but actually probably just putting a halt to the mid push right here. High Tyrant now tanking away, trying to knock down these knobs. Swarmlord now engaging as well. Wraithlord moving into position with the rest of the Eldar forces as both Orc armies move in to engage. 229 to 126 right now as there's just chaos unfolding in the center of the map here. Super units all over the place. Dreadnought falling back, doesn't want to find itself out of position against the Swarmlord. All the Orc forces have been routed except for the vehicles. But as it stands right now, we do have the Tactical Marines moving in with their buffed rocket launchers between the Battle Cry and that Sacred Standard. Triple rocket launchers could actually deal with this Swarmlord pretty quickly. Wow, are those rockets doing about 200 damage per shot, it looks like right there. Taking huge chunks of health off of that Swarmlord, sitting at just under half health right now. Warlock's trying to get the cap in, but take too much focus fire, unfortunately. Down bottom, Commando Knobs just hanging out, looking for some trouble to get into. Oh, just if you check it out, looks like they decide to engage these dual Kasserkins down bottom. Up top, the big shot coming down. Beautiful shot right into the thick of the Nid army there. Manticore strike trying to keep the pressure on both of those large vehicles, trying to at least keep them injured so that squads have to keep on repair duty instead of staying on the map here. Wraithguard under cover of the Ranger Shroud here, but it looks like we've got Terminators coming in. Yep, Assault Terminators too. Make very short work of those Wraithguard if they're not careful. Heavy weapon squad keeping the vehicles in check on this side of the map. The Assault Terminators could change that very quickly. Down bottom looks like the Commandos got routed. Assault Terminators putting some real pressure on that Swarmlord. All those rocket attacks. Oh, Rocket Run coming down here. Looks like it might actually take out some Termagants. No, they just barely survived. Did all of those attacks survive too? Wow, one lone model of the Tactical Marine survived on top of all that. 126 to 88. Swarmlord does escape from the wrath of these Assault Terminators, but now the Assault Terminators seem like they're in trouble. Tactical rockets flying in against this Tyrant Guard. Neither side really able to secure any DP for more than a few seconds here. Wraithlord under a lot of pressure. Down it goes from both the Knobs and that Orc Battle Wagon. Weird Boy's trying to escape the wrath of the Inquisitor, but the Inquisitor looks like she might be a bit too deep in enemy territory as well right now. Luckily, a quick burst of suppression there from those Wraith Lord managed to slow them down just long enough so that that Inquisitor could make her way home. Tactical Marines, all 3 squads very injured. Is this another drop pod coming in up here to reinforce them all? More Space Marines come in. One squad was a bit too far, or both squads I think were actually unfortunately a bit too far away to get the instant reinforce. You probably should have held on for just a moment. Noisy at 90 of 100 with now 4 squads. Yes, 4 squads of Tactical Marines. If he's just looking for rockets, he could really just leave those at a couple models apiece. Go for 4 rockets if he wanted to. He really wants to go that hard on anti-vehicle. Carnifex coming in along with a Lemon Rust for the blue team. They've managed to take back the victory point advantage in this late stage of the game.
So we're losing a victory
But really, it's still anyone's game. All 6 armies looking very sizable at this stage. Commandos trying to do whatever they can on the back line here, trying to get a triple cap and take out the blues really quickly here before they get a chance to grab hold of the map once again. Zoanthrope and all these giant Tyrannid threats now moving onto the field. Where is that Swarmlord? Swarmlord moving up, so we've got a Swarmlord, a Tyrant Guard, a Hive Tyrant, and a Carnifex all out here. That is some serious meat to have to deal with. Luckily, all of these missile attacks are over here to deal with this vehicle threat. Hopefully the Warlock manages to get out of there after the Hive Tyrant went through the trouble of picking him up. Nice looking Manticore strike right there, taking out Tax, taking out Shooter Boys. And now all of the monsters are here. This looks like some sort of Godzilla movie here. A bunch of kaiju running all over the field here. Orbital bombardment goes down. Doesn't manage to do anything except send the Force Commander flying right there. All these Tyranids are too quick with that Swarmlord to stand under that kind of nuke. Looks like this Dreadnought, after so many escapes, is finally going down under this monstrous assault. Red team does manage to secure the middle victory point once again, 75 to 48. VP's constantly changing hands. At this stage in the game, no one's really been able to hold on to anything. No really decisive pushes from either side. Swarmlord and Tyrant Guard looking pretty rough at this stage. What we need is a Manticore strike right in the thick of all these Tactical Marines, or maybe even a nuke right here. Here comes, there's a perfect knockdown right there. A little more friendly fire from the Weird Boy. One squad attack did go down. Manticore strike forced the full retreat, but the Assault Terminators are on the field once again. 53 to 48, still neck and neck. Both sides are just hurling squads at the victory points, trying to make sure they can keep the bleed from going any further. Assault Terminators out here by themselves, probably not able to deal with what they've got out here. Between the Carnifex and the Wraith Guard, and now a Seer Council moving in on the flank. Seer Council will rip those guys apart if they're not careful. No lightning claws on those Assault Terminators means they can't deal with even this injured Seer Council most likely. Look how quickly that HP is going down to that heavy power melee right now. As we watch these Assault Terminators try to survive, that Carnifex getting a little too brazen. But oh man, that Thornback charge right into the Orc army. Unfortunately, Knobs are sitting there in wait for it. I doubt it'll be surviving that onslaught. Beautiful shot there from that Orc battle wagon. Really been haranguing the front line, but unable to stay forward. Down goes the Thornbacks, those Knobs. Knobs and Painboy, definitely a force to be reckoned with at the late stages of the game. Points are ticking down perilously low for the blue team. One OCAP 15 to 47. The blue team's just throwing everything they have at the victory points, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna get a cap. The cap goes down. Force Commander manages to tag the VP on the bottom, the natural VP of the Blues, and that's gonna be the game. Wow, I completely lost track of what was going on by the end of that match. Oh my goodness. That was ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. let's just take a look at the center of the map here. This is exactly what you expect to see from Calderas. I can't even, between the Nid and Orc, look at this victory point. Oh my gosh. That's probably 100 Nids right there. Or at least it used to be. Orcs, Space Marines, Tyranids. What a battleground. What a match. Well, whew. I don't even have a synopsis for this map. Noisy just spamming these tactical marines with that defend on the force commander and sacred standard. That was insane. Those weird boys doing some real work as well. Excellent plays all around. Red team just couldn't manage to, or sorry, the blue team just couldn't manage to hold on to victory points there at the end. I loved seeing that Tyranid monster party there for a while towards the end of the game, but all that's left standing, unfortunately, is this the smallest of the monsters, this little tyrant guard right here. This little nubby guy. Anyways, that's it for 2.3. Get hyped because we're moving on to 2.4 from this day forward. I'll probably actually even be streaming a little later bit tomorrow, but if you can hang around for that, that'll be a good time. Send me your 2.4 replays. Find me on social media, drop me a line, comment on the video, subscribe, all that stuff. I don't know how the internet works. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.